You know that moment. You're standing next to someone at work, at a party, maybe even on a date. There's a pause. Your brain knows you should say something. And suddenly, nothing. Your mind goes blank. Your chest tightens. You panic and throw out the safest sentence you know. So, what do? They answer. Short, polite, flat. And now you're both trapped in silence, pretending to check your phone, wondering why something so simple feels so hard. Here's the truth most people never hear. You're not awkward. You're not boring. And you're definitely not bad with people. You're just using the wrong mental rule. And by the end of this video, you well understand the one quiet shift that makes conversations feel effortless, plus a 3-word phrase that can revive almost any dead interaction. But the real breakthrough comes at the end, because this isn't actually about talking better. It's about becoming someone people feel comfortable opening up to. For a long time, I thought confident people were just built differently. They always seemed relaxed. They always knew what to say. They never froze. Meanwhile, I'd replay conversations in my head afterward, thinking, why didn't I say that? Then one day, I noticed something strange. The people who were best socially weren't saying smarter things. They weren't more interesting. They weren't even talking more. They were doing something far simpler and far more powerful. They were paying attention in a different way, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with why conversations feel so hard in the first place. Most people walk into social situations with this invisible belief. I need to say something interesting. That belief sounds reasonable, but psychologically, it's a disaster. Because the moment you think your job is to perform, your brain switches into self-monitoring mode. You start watching yourself, judging your words, filtering every thought, and that's when your mind freezes. This is called cognitive overload. Your brain is trying to think of something clever, avoid saying something wrong, monitor how you're being perceived. All at the same time, so it shuts down. That's why you default to safe, lifeless questions. Not because you're boring, but because your brain is overwhelmed. Confident people don't escape this because they're braver. They escape it because they're playing a different game. Here's the first shift. Most awkward conversations feel awkward because they feel like interviews. Question, answer, next question. It creates pressure. When you ask generic questions, you're unintentionally asking the other person to perform. Have to come up with an interesting response, decide how much to share, worry if they sound boring. That's work. And when conversations feel like work, people disengage. Confident communicators do the opposite. Instead of asking for information, they offer observations, not facts, not compliments. Observations. An observation says, I'm paying attention to what's actually happening right now. And psychologically, that does something powerful. Lowers defenses. Because now, the other person doesn't have to produce anything. They can simply respond, or correct you, or build on it. And that's where conversation begins to flow. But Tand, this matters. Most people mess this up in a subtle way. You've probably heard advice like, just comment on what you see. So people try things like, nice weather today. Cool shirt. Busy place, huh? Technically. Yes. Those are observations, but they don't work. Why? Because they don't create movement. Good conversation isn't about stating reality. It's about inviting interpretation. The brain engages when there's something to respond to. That leads us to a simple framework that changes everything. Every engaging observation has 3 ingredients. You don't need all of them every time, but the more you use, the stronger the effect. 1. Specificity. Generic observations feel invisible. Specific ones feel personal. Not nice shoes, but those shoes look like they've survived some serious walking. Specificity signals attention. And attention is rare. 2. Light interpretation. This is where energy enters. You gently interpret what you see without claiming you're right. Not, you look tired, but you look like today started earlier than you wanted. It feels human, not judgmental. And it gives them space to agree, laugh, or explain. An implied story. This is the secret weapon. You hint that there's more beneath the surface. Not that's a lot of stickers on your laptop, but that laptop looks like it's been places. Now you've opened a door. And people naturally want to step through it. Because humans love telling stories about themselves as long as they don't feel forced. In a moment, I'll give you the 3-word phrase that combines all of this into something you can use instantly, even when you're nervous. But first, there's one advanced mistake you need to avoid, because using this skill incorrectly can still kill momentum. Here's what confident people understand intuitively. Conversation is a response, not a push. You don't force engagement. You read it. If someone gives short answers, you don't escalate. Soften. If they lean in, you explore a little more. This keeps interaction safe. Because real confidence isn't about dominating space. It's about being attuned. That's why this approach works in networking, dating work, meetings, casual, everyday moments. You're not trying to impress. You're responding to what's already there. And now, you're ready for the phrase? Here it is. Simple, unassuming, ridiculously effective. I bet you. That's it, 3 words. I bet you had one of those mornings. I bet that decision took longer than expected. I bet there's a story behind that. Why this works psychologically? It's observational, not invasive. It shows attention without pressure. It invites correction or confirmation. And here's the hidden benefit. When you start sentences with "I bet you," your brain automatically searches for something specific and human. You stop scanning your mind for clever lines and start engaging with the person in front of you. That's the shift. And now, the most important truth of this entire video. The goal is not to become good at small talk. It's too small. The real goal is to become someone who makes other people feel seen without effort. Because when people feel seen, they relax, they open up, they enjoy being around you. Conversation stops feeling like a test. It becomes a shared moment. So the next time your mind goes blank, remember this. You don't need better lines. You don't need more confidence. You just need to notice. And speak from what's already there. That's not social skill. That's social presence. And once you have that, awkward silence loses its power. You were never bad at conversation. You were just trying to talk before you learned how to see.